It was Christmas morning 1996 in Boulder, Colorado, a day that should have been filled with joy, laughter, and family traditions. The Ramsey household was silent, but not for the reasons anyone could have imagined. When Patsy Ramsey woke up around 5:30 a.m., she made her way down the staircase of their sprawling home only to discover a half-page ransom note placed on the stairs. The note was long, unusually detailed, and eerily specific. It demanded $110,000 for the safe return of her 6-year-old daughter, Jon Benet, a peculiar amount that was nearly identical to John Ramsey's Christmas bonus. This was not a typical ransom note. It sounded like a movie script, filled with phrases like victory, SBTC, and references to being a small foreign faction. Fear consumed Patsy as she ran upstairs to check Jon Benet's room. Her bed was empty. Jon Benet was gone. Patsy immediately called the police at 5:52 a.m., and within minutes their home began filling with officers, friends, and neighbors. The first responding officer, Rick French, performed a quick search of the house, but did not open the closed door to the basement where Jon Benet's body lay just a few feet away. The ransom note instructed the family not to contact authorities and to wait for further instructions. But in a panic, Patsy called friends and neighbors to come over for support, unintentionally contaminating what would later become one of the most infamous crime scenes in American history. As hours passed with no call from the kidnappers, tension escalated. Officers advised Jon Ramsey to search the house again for anything unusual. At approximately 1:05 p.m., Jon made his way to the basement, followed by a friend. There, in a small wine cellar, like room behind a closed door, Jon discovered his daughter's lifeless body, covered with a white blanket. Her hands were bound above her head with a cord, duct tape sealed her mouth, and a makeshift garrote constructed from a paintbrush and rope was tightened around her neck. Her skull had been fractured with a severe blow, but strangulation was the official cause of death. This was no simple kidnapping. It was a brutal murder. From the start, the case was plagued by critical investigative errors. The crime scene had been compromised by multiple people walking through the home. Evidence was moved. Jon Benet's body was carried upstairs by Jon Ramsey and placed near the Christmas tree before forensic technicians could properly examine the scene. The ransom note, which could have held critical fingerprints, had been handled multiple times. The investigation quickly turned inward. The Ramsey family, Jon, Patsy, and their 9-year-old son, Burke, fell under intense suspicion. Detectives found the ransom note to be strange in many ways. It was unusually long, written with a pen and paper from the Ramsey home, and it demanded an oddly specific ransom amount. Handwriting analysis ruled out Jon and Burke, but was inconclusive for Patsy. Many wondered why would a kidnapper write such an elaborate note after killing the child and leaving her body in the same house. To some, it looked staged. Yet there was evidence that complicated the theory of parental involvement. Male DNA that did not match any family member was found in Jon Benet's underwear and on her clothing. This raised the possibility of an intruder. A broken basement window seemed to support this theory, and an open suitcase near the window hinted at a possible escape attempt. However, dust and cobwebs suggested that the window had not been recently disturbed. Was it a false lead or the work of a clever killer? The media descended like vultures. Jon Benet's glamorous child pageant photos appeared on every magazine cover, every news broadcast, turning a private family tragedy into a public spectacle. Theories multiplied. Some claimed the parents were covering up an accident. Others suspected Burke, then 9 years old, might have lashed out in anger, and that his parents staged the crime scene to protect him. There were also theories of a pedophile intruder, pointing to hundreds of registered offenders in Boulder at the time. But despite exhaustive interviews and polygraph tests, no one was ever charged. Over the years, the case became one of the most analyzed unsolved murders in history. Documentaries, books, and endless speculation kept the story alive. In 2008, after advanced DNA testing on evidence, the Ramsey family was formally cleared by the Boulder district attorney. The unknown male DNA found on Jon Benet's clothes did not belong to anyone in the family. Yet the DNA still didn't match anyone in CODIS, the national database. Whoever killed Jon Benet had left a trace, but their identity remained hidden. Now, nearly 3 decades later, the case is seeing renewed hope thanks to cutting-edge forensic technology. Investigators are considering using the same genetic genealogy methods that cracked cases like the Golden State Killer and the Gilgo Beach murders. These advanced techniques can build a complete genetic profile from even tiny, degraded samples and trace them through family trees. Items such as the ransom note, the garrote, and Jon Benet's clothing are being re-evaluated. Experts believe the killer's identity may finally be within reach. Jon Ramsey, now in his late 70s, continues to fight for these tests, saying, "The answers are in the evidence. We just need to use the tools we have today." But for now, the haunting question remains: who killed Jon Benet Ramsey? Was it a parent trying to cover up an unthinkable accident, a jealous sibling, or a predator who slipped in unnoticed on Christmas night? The truth is locked in a case file that has fascinated and horrified the world for almost 30 years. And until science catches up, the Ramsey case will remain one of America's most chilling unsolved mysteries.